All right, so you want to learn English faster, huh? Well, you've come to the right place. We're diving deep into this script, jam-packed with advice, and trust me, we're going to filter out the gold, the stuff that actually works.
It's funny, right off the bat, this script doesn't just hit you with grammar rules, it starts way before all that.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
Where do they start then? What's the foundation?
Mindset. They're all about getting in the right headspace first.
Mindset, huh? Okay, break that down for me. What does it even mean when it comes to learning a language?
Basically, it's that belief, really believing you can become fluent. It's like shifting from, man, I wish I could speak English to, I will speak English.
It's like anything else you set your mind to, right?
Yeah.
You got to believe you can do it before you actually can. But then believing's only half the battle sometimes, right? What about the actual doing?
Totally. And the script talks about that too. Consistency is key. They compare it to like working out, You don't get ripped by going to the gym once a month.
Right. Got to be consistent. So we're talking daily practice.
Exactly. Even if it's just for a little bit each day. And here's where it gets kind of cool. They actually encourage learners to embrace making mistakes, like right from the get-go.
Now, hold on. Embrace mistakes. That sounds a little counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It might seem that way, but think of it like learning to drive. Imagine being so scared of stalling the car, you never actually give it gas.
You'd never leave your driveway.
Exactly. And the script makes this great analogy. Making mistakes in English, it's like stalling that car. It's just part of learning.
Okay, I'm starting to see it now. So don't be afraid to speak, even if you mess up a bunch at first.
Exactly. Each mess up, it's a chance to learn and get better. And speaking of diving in, the script also talks about immersion.
Now, when I hear immersion, I think working a flight, jetting off to some English-speaking country. But I'm guessing they have something a little easier in mind.
You're right. They give some really doable things you can do, like just switch your phone's language settings to English.
Oh, wow. That's such a simple but smart idea. We're always on our phones anyway.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. They also talk about narrating your day out loud. In English, of course.
So instead of just thinking, okay, time to make dinner, you'd say it out loud. I'm going to the kitchen to prepare dinner.
Yes. Might feel strange at first, but it's great for getting your brain thinking in English and practicing pronunciation without any pressure.
It's like you become your own English-speaking character. Speaking of which, the script also talks about movies and TV shows as great ways to learn, but they're not just talking about passively watching, are they?
You got it. They're all about active engagement. Use subtitles, pause, rewind, even try to copy how the actors say things.
And the cool thing is, there's so much to choose from. Documentaries, comedies, thrillers, even reality TV. You're bound to find something you enjoy while learning at the same time.
Don't forget about podcasts either. They're like everywhere, on any topic you can think of. So you're training your ears and learning something new at the same time.
Okay, that's a win-win for sure, learning English and satisfying your curiosity. But what about actually finding someone to practice speaking with? They don't leave us hanging on that one, do they?
Not at all. They've got some really interesting insights on how to find language partners and how to structure those conversations to get the most out of them. Want to hear more about that?
Absolutely. Let's jump right into the world of language partners.
All right, language partners. This feels kind of like, I don't know, taking the training wheels off, going from practicing in your room to actually talking to someone.
Yeah, it can feel like a big step, but the script does a good job of breaking it down and making it less scary. They're really big on this idea that finding a language partner isn't about finding someone to analyze every grammar mistake you make.
Right, it's more about just having a conversation, right?
Totally, just talking, even if it's a little messy at first. And they give some practical tips on actually finding these partners too, like check out online language exchange platforms. Oh yeah, those apps, right?
Yeah.
Where you connect with native English speakers who are trying to learn your language.
Exactly. Those are great. You practice your English, and in exchange, you help them with your native language. Everyone wins, and it kind of takes the pressure off feeling like you gotta be perfect,
Totally. It's like you're both learning, both figuring it out together.
Yeah.
But speaking of, getting better and everything, the script doesn't completely ignore grammar, right?
Right. They actually have some pretty cool ideas about how to tackle grammar strategically, so you learn faster.
Okay, I'm all ears because, honestly, grammar can feel overwhelming sometimes. So many rules and then exceptions to the rules. Where do you even begin?
Well, they start by kind of flipping the script on how we usually think about grammar. Instead of getting stuck on memorizing every single rule, they say focus on the most common words and phrases first. the ones you'll actually use all the time.
So it's like learning the hits, the essential grammar points that'll get you speaking and understanding quicker.
Exactly. Prioritize the language that people actually use every day, not just the stuff you'd find in a textbook, you know?
Makes sense. And they mentioned some tools too, right? Something about spaced repetition.
Oh, yeah. Spaced repetition. That's a learning technique where you use flashcards and review them at specific times to help you remember things better long term. It's like a workout, but for your vocabulary.
Okay, so instead of just repeating a word a million times and hoping it sticks, you're being strategic about it, reviewing it at just the right times to really cement it in your memory.
You got it. And they even mentioned some apps specifically like Anki and Memrise. They're great for this kind of spaced repetition thing, and they have pre-made flashcards, or you can make your own. Easy peasy.
Sounds way less overwhelming than just trying to cram a bunch of vocab all at once. But okay, what about writing? Any tips on how to get better at writing in English?
They do. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, consistency, practice, practice. They're big on making writing a daily thing, even just for a few minutes each day.
I bet a lot of people listening are like, but what am I supposed to write about every day?
That's the cool part. It can be literally anything. The script talks about keeping a journal, writing little summaries of stuff you've seen or read, even just jotting down your thoughts in English. It's all about just getting comfortable with writing, you know?
Yeah, like building those writing muscles.
Yeah.
Okay, this next technique they mentioned I'm really curious about. Shadowing. What in the world is shadowing, and how does it help you learn a language?
Shadowing. It does sound kind of mysterious, doesn't it? But it's actually pretty straightforward. Okay, imagine you're watching your favorite actor speaking English in a movie, right? Now picture yourself speaking along with them, trying to match their pronunciation perfectly, their rhythm, everything. That's shadowing.
So you're like a shadow, sticking with them, copying everything they say?
Yeah, exactly. And it might sound a little weird at first, but it's super helpful for a few reasons.
Like what? Tell me more.
Well, for one thing, when you're shadowing, you have to really pay attention to how those sounds are made, the tiny details you might not notice otherwise. It's not just about individual sounds, though. It's also about the music of the language. You know, how words are stressed, the pauses between phrases, the intonation.
It's like you're training your mouth to move the way a native speaker's mouth moves, getting all those subtle things right.
Exactly. And because you're constantly speaking, you're naturally becoming more fluent and building confidence at the same time.
It's like active listening, or maybe active speaking is a better way to put it. What kind of stuff can you use for shadowing, though?
Anything, really. As long as you can listen to it. Podcasts, audiobooks, the news, even YouTube videos, they can all be your shadowing buddies.
I love this. This script is full of such practical advice. It's not just telling you to learn English. It's giving you the tools to actually do it.
I know. It's super refreshing, actually. But they do have one final piece of advice, and it's a good one. They talk about taking this whole learn by doing thing and applying it to other areas of your life, too.
Ooh, I like where this is going. Tell me more about this final takeaway.
Okay, so this last bit of advice, it's about more than just English then. Lay it on me.
It's pretty simple, actually,
Yeah.
but super powerful. They basically remind us that all this stuff, diving in, not being afraid to mess up, practicing all the time, it's not just for learning English. It works for anything you want to get better at.
Oh, I like that. It's like learning English becomes this, training ground for personal growth in general.
Exactly. Think about it. That fear of making mistakes that messes with us in English, that might be the same fear that's stopping us from trying a new hobby or going for that promotion.
It's true. So if we can get over that fear in one area, it can help us be braver in other areas too. Cool.
Exactly. This script, it really highlights how learning, it's not just about memorizing facts or whatever. It's about being curious, being okay with failing sometimes, being open to new experiences.
I love that. This deep dive has been amazing. We've covered so much. Practical tips, inspiring messages, all of it. And the way it all connects, right? It shows how learning English, it's not just about the grammar rules. It's about connecting with people, new cultures, new experiences.
It's about the journey. So for anyone listening who's feeling pumped to take their English further, what's the most important thing to remember?
Honestly, just start. Don't wait for the perfect time or let that fear hold you back. Dive in, be consistent, make those mistakes, and have fun.
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
This has been fantastic. We've learned so much about learning English faster, and even more importantly, how to become better learners in every aspect of life.
I've loved chatting about this with you.
And to everyone listening, we hope you've gotten as much out of this deep dive as we have. And remember, The power to unlock your fluency, it's all yours. Go make it happen.